Welcome everybody to the weekly WP Roundup with BJ Keeton. That is me, and every Friday I go live with a list of curated links that includes news and tutorials and resources that we hope will, help you along with WordPress. We have a very lively community. Feel free to throw some comments in. I see on Facebook and YouTube people are already talking, which is fantastic. And if you're new here, all of the links that we'll be talking about, all of the news and the tutorials and things like that are in the description of this video. So make sure that you expand that and check that out. Open them up in a couple of dozen tabs because there's some really good stuff in there. I want to thank you all for being here. This is awesome. I'm really glad that we have all of y'all with us. I'm seeing, like I said, I see a lot of comments so far, so there will be probably times where I'll get distracted by reading them, but that's part of being live. So we really want to have this kind of community where we can talk back and forth. So I'm looking at that. I see there's a question on... let's see here. Eric asks, says that they're having a lot of problems with the 4.2 update. Are you up to it? Well, I'm not good at troubleshooting new stuff. I've only played around with the builder part a little bit. That is actually a much better thing to talk to our live support, because if there are a lot of problems, they can link up with your backend by a secure token and actually see the problems themselves. I would be absolutely, if you have any specifics, me or somebody else in the chat will may very well be able to answer a handful of specifics for you if you have anything like that. I see Nextrahost is asking if we have, a pricing for the hosting website. We don't host. If you go to elegantthemes.com/Divi, you'll see all of our pricing, which is, I think, I don't actually want to say because for some reason I'm thinking of our Black Friday deal, so I don't actually want to say anything till how up on that I am. Our pricing is $89 a year and $249 for lifetime access. That is the pricing layout that we have, but we have the don't do hosting ourselves. We only provide the theme and the support for Divi and our plugins. We don't actually... Cynical Social says, check the pre-made Divi layouts. A few of them have pricing tables for the Divi library. I see. If that's what you're asking, if I completely misunderstood, thank you, Uncle Social. Then I suggest going to elegantthemes.com/layout. It is where you find all of the layouts. They're also in your builder. We don't have them separated out by individual modules like that, but if you look at pricing pages and things like that, you'll find them. And I've taken and copied modules out of those a lot. So if you can find those, then that will absolutely be what they are. Sorry, I misunderstood on that and went into a tangent, but hey, you guys now know our pricing schedule. So like I said, I really appreciate y'all being here. MB says, Eric, I haven't upgraded yet. What are the problems? Because then I'll wait. And yeah, whenever there are problems that one person has, I really like being able to share them. I haven't run into any on mine. I use a lot of our layouts and customize them, and I've so far really enjoyed the positional dragging, which I'm going to go on and get into, which is actually the first thing I want to talk about today, is that we had an update yesterday. So it's awesome. I'm really, really excited about this particular update personally. This is the one that if y'all have been watching for a while, you know that I said that there was this update coming that I was just nuts about and could not wait, and but couldn't tell you anything about it because I didn't know when it was going to be done. This is that one. Specifically the draggable anchors. This is one that I saw on our retreat late last year, and I was blown away when our developer Miguel showed showed me this. It is fantastic what you can do with this. I mean, you've got fixed headers and floating elements, but what I love is the draggable anchors more than anything, because you can just pick up a module and then drag it where you want it on the screen. Like if you have one here, you can drag it where it will be here, and that's just where it's going to stay. I love that. Like, it takes out so much finagling with CSS and margins and padding, trying to make sure that everything lines up with every different kind of viewport. And the fact that you can do this with different placements on every kind of view size, especially when our breakpoint update comes out and you can set your own breakpoints, that's going to be even more powerful. But right now you can go through mobile, tablet, and desktop and position the elements however you want, which I'm really, really, really excited about, because mobile placement and columns and stuff like that are very important to me, and I know they are you guys as well. So that's one that I think is going to really make a big, big, big difference, is being able to have the draggable anchors on mobile sites rather. And Uncle Social says that Divi did send out an email saying that Divi 4.2 has broken a lot of their layout. So if you use those, be careful and aware of that. But they're liaising with the Elegant Theme support crew now. It sounds like there are issues. If there are, and that is exactly how they get fixed. This is a new update, and we do always work. Well, we do our best to work with different teams and different developers and make sure that things like that are going on and actually get fixed so that we can find out what they are. Thank you for bringing that up very specifically with the Divi Denwins. I'm really, really excited about all of this update. So if you're like me and you really want to see what the fixed headers do, and Nick had mentioned that there is somebody had some issues with lining up the headers with other stuff, you need to make sure that the Z index of the fixed header is on top. That should fix a lot of the issues that come up there. And then on Monday at 5 a.m. Nope, at Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern, Mac is going to go live with this new feature update and answer a lot of your questions. That way you will have had an entire weekend to mess around with it, the end of the work week and the weekend, and then Mac has been working with this, making sure that he's familiar with it to be able to answer your questions. And really, with the new feature overviews that he does, it turns into a really, really good stream every single time. So I highly, highly suggest y'all checking that out at 6 a.m. Eastern. If you're not able to get up and do a Divi live stream at 6 a.m. Eastern, which for me, that's 5 a.m., and that is not going to happen for me, all of the live streams are archived on our page, on our Facebook and YouTube channels. So make sure that you check that out when it's there, because I realize that doesn't work for a lot of people, but there's always a fantastic crew there asking questions. So somebody may very well ask the question you have. So awesome. Check that out. I see Ronak Johnny says that the themes are too expensive for an Indian developer, to reduce the price, please. And we can't do that. We actually feel that we have a very competitive price with the lifetime membership, especially the lifetime membership, I should say. Being able to get lifetime and unlimited API keys and things like that out of a single theme for a single payment is really, really good for us. We want to make sure that we're able to keep that available to y'all, so we really like the lifetime membership from that. I think that a lot of people can get a lot of use out of it, especially if you go in and you're doing this over the long term with our lifetime membership. Excuse me 1 second. Yeah, Uncle Social says 6 a.m. Eastern is 11 a.m. UTC for 6.7 billion people who don't live in EST, which is one of the reasons we made sure to do it at that time. That stream in particular hits a lot of like a massive amount of people during that time, and that is an incredibly popular live stream for new features. So it super helps out. Um, Especially since it's 11 a.m. I think ish for Mac when he's doing it too. Oh, excuse me. Um, Now, the other news that I had, this one isn't actually news, so to speak. Um, that it's a Yoast post. I just wanted to make sure that y'all didn't miss talking about the social media influencer SEO, and it absolutely does. The article itself is just going through ways that you can get your social media to show up in Google results, that you can have your actual official links show up when somebody Googles your name or your location or something like that, and your tweets come up as well. So it's a fantastic read through. I wanted to make sure that you knew that was there and how to use the Google Open Graph. There are links through there to be able to use Open Graph and get your stuff on there. And I just wanted to make sure that I wanted to absolutely make sure that you saw this and were able to go through it and make sure, because that's one thing that some of my side projects doesn't have, is the social right there on Google, and I'm going to be going through some of this myself. I see MB says nice feature yesterday. Could you please get going on the menu module? It just misses features, and that's being worked on. I know that we have. I have no timeline or ETA on stuff. I know that updating. Stuff like that is on the docket, and Uncle Social says, I was always suspicious that Google would give brands on Google Plus boosting in the Google search results. I think the same is true about Google My Business, to go and register your brand now. Absolutely 100%. If you are not using Google My Business for whatever it is that you're doing right now to make money, go do it. If your employer is doing that, is not using it, then it is a wonderful idea for you to to get them to do it, or go through the process yourself and get a little initiative going and brownie points with them, because it's great. It is super important to do, and it is invaluable for SEO. MB says, why do I get good speed ratings on GT metrics while Google PageSpeed Insights give me a very low rating? I wish I knew that, MB. I really do, because it happens to me every single website I ever build. I have no idea why. I'm glad I'm not alone, because I really was thinking that personally, and this is personally me, I can't speak for anybody else on the team, but for me, everything is always slow on Google PageSpeed. It's like, oh man, you're the worst ever. And then I go to Pingdom and GT Metrics and stuff, and it's like, hey, you're really good at this. And so I have no idea. I've yet to be able to figure it out. But the I am there. I wish I had an answer for you on that. I think that Google PageSpeed just hates everybody. Video Superhero says, I know, and I assume that's to that. Like, Google stopped publishing the Google PageSpeed algorithm a few years ago, so they're using the old algorithm, and it's like, I don't know. It's the worst. I say that in the way that I cannot get any benefit out of it when I'm working on different sites, because I thought I was working on an article. I have an article coming up on a caching plugin, and I was trying to figure out, how it worked, how everything was going, and I used Google PageSpeed first, and I was like, oh my goodness, is this broken? And no, it worked wonderfully in everything else. I see that GT Metrics told Video Superhero directly when they asked them. I see that there's a question about working for the company, and we have a page at elegantthemes.com/careers. You can go and check to see any of the current job openings. If you go there, you can scroll down, and you'll be able to see any of the openings that are there. I'm sorry, Ronak, I did not see your message with everything. And then And yeah, MB says, I think Google uses their measurements for SEO, so it sucks. And yeah. Anyway, back to the news. I wanted to point out just a very quickly on this one, that WordCamp Houston is coming back, which I think is fantastic. I love WordCamps. Y'all know that. WP Tavern has an article that's showing that WordCamp Houston is coming back. That there's been a 10-year hiatus on it being there, but if you're in Houston, Texas, on May 9th and 10th, it's a really good idea to go there. I know I haven't heard anything about us being there. I know that Jason is near there, but I have no clue on who's going to be able to attend. But all WordCamps are great, and I'm so glad to see that one is coming back in a major hub for everyone to be able to attend. So check that out for sure, y'all. And then I wanted to make sure that I pointed out the Divi network, the Divi meetup network. We have an update this week on the December 2019 updates. We do these on a rolling monthly basis, where Raquel talks about all of the new all of the new meetup groups and the members. Like, we are up to 51 total groups. We've had 401 total events hosted. It's just great. 1,600 new members across the Divi Nation meetup groups in the last 90 days. In the last 90 days, 5 new groups have come up, and we got 5 more coming. We have some highlights in here for Divi Madrid, which is going to be great. There's a new one in Chicago, Illinois. There's one in Divi Bucks County, where in Pennsylvania. I know I've heard y'all mention Bucks County before, and I know that there is a wonderful community there, just from the number of people who I've heard about the Bucks County WordPress group. We've got one for Divi Bogota, Colombia, and their existing groups, Divi Douala, in Cameroon, Cairo, Egypt. There's an update. There's Gulfport, Mississippi, which I know some of y'all have mentioned here in the stream. So it's just wonderful. There's an update for the Los Angeles, California one, and in Mumbai, and then Phoenix, Arizona, which is actually, and then Pune, India. Pune. I'm gonna mess that up. Sacramento. Oh my goodness, there are so many that I scrolled down and didn't even get to all of them. So there are bunches. Check that out. See what's near you, and you'll be able to click through to the Divi meetup page and check out what Divi groups are in your area. And if you're interested in hosting one, then definitely get in touch with Raquel so that you can check and see if that's something that you and your area would be a good fit for. Also, I see, before I move into that, Uncle Social says, has anyone noticed that Google added favicons to the search results page? It looks terrible and messy in my opinion, but it's an incentive to make sure your favicon is up to date. And I have not noticed that, but I'm going right now just to look, because why not? I have not actually probably searched anything in a while. Oh yeah, they do, don't they? Huh. It is kind of ugly. I see why they do that, though. It makes it recognizable, and you can definitely tell valid links from invalid links, non-valid links. One of those. But I think it does not look the best that it could right now, but I understand why they did it. I had not seen that. Thank you for bringing that up. And NB says, I can ask all my questions here. I love it. Thanks. I'm very glad. Yeah, please ask anything that you want. Whether or not I have an answer for it, may not, can't say, but feel free. I see, let's see, there was one that I wanted to address. Let me see. Oh, MB also asked, that was where it was. Will there be a Divi Lite theme for speed and examples without the WooCommerce and stuff that I don't use? I have not heard of that. If there is, it's above my pay grade. I don't doubt it, but I have not heard of it being something. I know that that's something that people are talking a lot about, is taking off and selective loading on which ones get loaded per per page and per website. People have talked about that. I have no idea where all of that stuff is standing in the development cycle from top to bottom. It would be a really cool one like that to see. And then, like I was saying, I was talking with the meetups. I see we have Ricardo from the Divi Brazil. The Divi Brazil meetup. I have a question from Karen that asks, where do I search to find these Divi meetups? And let me see if I can get the link to it. It's at the bottom of the link. Either of the links at the end of the news section will have a link to it. And also, I'm going to paste it in the Facebook and the YouTube chat here so that y'all can see it. All of these have the 53 groups in the 18 countries that we have. It highlights Divi Atlanta for me because that's just a few hours away immediately. Divi Gulfport, all of this. It's great. Now, with that, do I have a Divi Japan? Dwayne asks. We do not. Looking at the map right now, we do not have any in what looks like to be the Eastern Asia side. We have a Southeast Asia one in Indonesia, but we in Bekasi, but I don't see any in Japan or that area at all. So, hey, if you're there, talk to Raquel. But that said, let's see, Karen says Iowa. I'm going to scroll. St. Louis, Missouri is probably the closest to you, and that is a pretty good way away, I think. My American geography is terrible. But I think that would be the closest because to you. Y'all, the number one that I want to talk about to begin with is the Divi Phoenix one. And I bring this up because we're going to WordCamp Phoenix next month. Me, Raquel, Nathan, and Jason are going to be at WordCamp Phoenix. So if any of y'all are coming to Phoenix, Arizona on the 6th through 9th, I believe the 7th through 9th of February, then y'all will be able to come meet us. And the last link under news is the direct link so that you can go and meet and hang out with us before the WordCamp starts. So if you click through there, you'll be able to sign up and RSVP to meet us, to hang out, get whatever Divi swag we've got, and really just meet the team. Ask your questions in person so that I won't have a live chat to be able to refer you to and just be like, hey, Jason. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait for that, but I wanted to make sure that with us talking about the meetups, with having published that this week, as well as having the train of thought just left. While we're having the WordCamp meetup, the Divi meetups in the post, wanted to talk about the Divi meetup that's coming up at WordCamp Phoenix. Excuse me. Tootweb says, I have a question. There's a website called Walk Manazimi, and they're selling Divi a lot cheaper. Is that legal? Is it the real Divi or not? Can't say it's the real Divi because it does not come from us. We have affiliates that you may click through to get to our site, but all Divi comes through us. And I say that in a way that we want to protect your website. Pirated themes are notorious for malware, for viruses, and really crashing your servers and stealing information. They are absolutely not worth it. I'm someone who has used stuff like that. I've tested out things, and for me, it's been about 7 out of 10 of the ones I've downloaded between plugins and themes and stuff that I've checked out at different sites like that have been loaded with malware of some kind or another. I highly suggest not doing that. If you're ever looking for a cheaper Divi, we offer a 25% discount at Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Sometimes over the summer we'll do a summer sale, but I would not trust them as far as I could throw this computer. It It's not Divi. It's not our Divi that we are putting out with the support and APIs and everything that you can get from that. And then I see Dwayne ask, is there a way to make Flywheel faster without adding any plugins? It tends to get slower after making about 12 pages. That's, yeah, Uncle Social says ask their support. But if it's actually, you know, on their servers, that's totally their support thing. Like, I haven't used Flywheel in a while. And usually my sites are pretty lightweight pages, and they just have lots of posts. And so I haven't run into that, but that, yeah, if it's Flywheel local, like Uncle Social says, maybe more RAM and an SSD. SSD does tend to help on local, but yeah, I don't know about the actual hosting. I've not used it with a heavy enough site to see other than just demo sites. I see AJ MB asks, what's your job description at ET? You sit in a bunker, so I'm just wondering. My job description is content creator. I am paid to sit in a bunker all day and write about WordPress. No, I actually have windows in here. I keep them closed, as you can probably see behind me a little bit here, for glare and light. I have a couple of soft boxes above me to keep everything even like this, but I have to keep the windows around me closed for sun shining in. I did that in some early streams and it looked just terrible. But in terms of job description, it is I'm there to put out content, live streaming, ideas, blog ideas, and writing the articles themselves, like content creator. So yeah, I'm a keyboard junkie. I'm a keyboard I'm a keyboard jockey is the way it is. XL Rini asks, have you ever done a drop shipping site with Divi? And we have a couple of articles on that, I believe, that we've, let's see, drop shipping. This is me, like I said last week. Hopefully this whole link will work. We have an introduction to drop shipping with WooCommerce and some others that should get you the that should get you up to where the drop shipping articles that we have are. And then I see on Facebook, Peter asks, what's the best mega menu to link up with Divi? And the one that I've used is called Divi Mega Pro. I don't know about other folks using it. I end up liking that one. This one I've used when I've done mega menus. I know that there were some in the Cyber Monday bundle that if you got any of those, I can't remember what they're called though. I know other people in the comments have different ones. I see. And then too, it says, oh, they have a lot of API keys, and they can make them from elegant themes, and they sell it cheaper. Totally not cool with terms of service, as far as I'm aware. So, yeah, I would not do that. And then Uncle Social says, Peter, that quad menu is a beautiful looking mega menu for Divi as well. So thank you, Uncle Social. And then Video Superhero says, what's the software stack for the screencast that we use? Looks Pro. I think it differs by person, depending on what we've been able to really get for the machines. I'm actually using OBS right now. I know that we've used Wirecast in the past. We've had some Camtasia, I know, and Ecamm Live is really, really good right now. But I think there are a few that we use. Like I said, right now I'm going through OBS because I've had the best luck with it. And on my PC, I use Slobs, SLOBS, the Streamlabs OBS, because it's super smooth. And so, yeah, the Superhero says, I love the bottom graphic. That is actually not from the software itself. That came from our design team. I can give them credit where credit is due. the lower third and graphics like that come from our design team for assets, so they are magnificent. Um, they're just some of the most talented people I've ever seen. But yeah, I like OBS video. I really think that it's a solid piece of software. I'm huge into open source software myself, and so when I find one that really works and has a good community around it, I really do like it. And yeah, putting it in the live stream as OBS, I have just included it as a piece of media on the same screen. I've got my camera pulled up and overlaid the image over it, like wherever it is here. I don't actually have the live up on me, like right here. This is just an image that I imported and dragged by the corner right here and made it bigger. I can't do this. I'm looking at myself backwards. Dragged it until I got it where I wanted. Like, it's super easy to use, which is why I like it. Ronak asks, what if I buy a lifetime membership and die in a few months? Well, I certainly hope that doesn't happen. Would I exist on your servers? Yes, I think so. I'm not sure how that works, but I know that there is, between GDPR and Right to be Forgotten and now the CCPA, that your estate would be able to request that you were no longer there. And then... but yeah, let me see. Sorry. I would like to create a dashboard. Excelrini says, I'd like to create a dashboard where I can have some personal information with a user portal. Can you please guide me with Divi? We do have, there are plugins that can do that for you. Let's see. I want to say we have a post on doing a custom dashboard. I did one on custom Google Analytics, custom WordPress dashboard for your clients. Yes, we have this one. Might work for you to see if it'll get the right thing that you need. I like custom dashboards and things like that. So yeah, when I saw that, I was like, yeah. But that's the one I would check out. Video Superhero says to have a live avatar in the stream. One of the things I want, and I know that there is a piece of software for it. I have an old version of it. I think it's called Action Cam, something like that. I got it in a Humble Bundle, actually, but it's not for Mac that I use on this. It's for PC. It lets you basically do like Snapchat filters over your face and body and stuff so that it maps your face and expressions and stuff like that. I know that it exists, but it's not for Mac. So if you use that, it's bad. But it's Stream Action Cam or something like that. But it does exist because I've wanted to play around with it a lot for like weird anonymous game streaming videos and things like that. Karen asks, do we still need child themes? And 100% absolutely yes. Please do, please do, please do. I cannot stress how much I always suggest a child theme. Anytime that you go in and customize any theme whatsoever, we suggest a child theme. Divi Space has a child theme creator that you can use that we recommend. And we just think that it is best practices, regardless of the theme that you use, to have a child theme. Running a child theme makes it so that even if you don't ever really mess with any core functionality of that theme or WordPress, you're going to be safe through any updates. You're going to be able to not worry at all about things breaking on a functional level for your theme. It is absolutely something that we recommend still using. It's one of those where it has become a little less and less necessary in terms of design over the last few years, with the huge influx of page builders and being able to import and export layouts. It has really really been fantastic to not have to worry about it so much. But yeah, we still really like that. And Dave asked if we have one that we have or recommend. Where is it? Let me pull up the link to that one as well. I know that one's at divi.space. I found out about it in one of the live streams. Let me see. Yeah, there it is. I found about it in one of the live streams that Nathan, the content manager, did and was showing how to use it. But Dave, this is the link to that child theme creator that I'd seen Nathan use in one of his live streams early on in my career here. It's very, very good. AMA, I don't think that you're blocked. I see your comment, so I think you're good. And the yeah, sorry, I was reading comments. But yeah, that's the one that Nathan used, and it's worked out really, really well. Now, I personally go either with that one or one called the Orbisius Child Theme Creator. It is not Divi specific, but it is a plugin that works like that. I click it, I have a child theme, it's automatically activated, and then I disable that plugin. I've never had issues with it. There are a couple like that, but Orbisius is the one that I've used. I've either used that one or the Divi Space one are the ones that I've used. And like I said, Nathan Weller, our content manager, is the one who showed me that while I was watching one of his live streams. So it's good stuff. And then, Uncle Social says 40 minutes in and BJ's forgotten all about the links he collected for the show. And I haven't forgotten, but here's the thing. Y'all are talking and having questions, and I want to be able to interact and answer anything that I can while I'm able to be live. Because the links are there, and they're great this week. But I like doing this, too, so that we can actually, interact and get to know each other and legit help out like this. And then I see... Ronak asks, over Divi and WordPress themes, can I make changes to my website via HTML codes? And yeah, absolutely you can. I've gone in and changed up HTML in different places. Usually you'll find those because of the way WordPress works. You'll find those in the different PHP files. Single.php is probably the main one that I edit just straight up HTML in. If I just need to add snippets of something, I tend to be using either Divi or Gutenberg, the block editor, and I end up using the custom HTML blocks or a code block. That's the primary things that I do for HTML. But if you're going in over Divi and WordPress theme, I would make changes with HTML to those individual PHP files if you have a child theme. Otherwise, they'll be overwritten during updates, which is why we suggest a child theme. And if it's just a small change, then it's great to use a code module or a custom HTML block, things like that. That's what I do. Let's see here. Okay, so I will get to the tutorials now. I think I've moved through. If I've missed any, please just poke me in the comments. Y'all know. As you can see, I'm trying to follow them. But I wanted to just throw y'all some tutorials in here today that I think would be very good for you. We have one that's how to use a heat map to improve your website's overall quality. I really like this one just because it is kind of an audit of your whole site to see how your users use it. User testing is amazing. If you've never done that, then it's definitely worth taking a look at. I think there's Hotjar, there's Google Analytics heat maps. They're just really, really, really good tools out there to see if people are even clicking the stuff that you want them to click. Some of my favorite email providers do this, where they provide heat maps and show exactly where people clicked in the emails that you send them. I know Emma does this, and it has turned out to be very useful in when I was freelancing and doing marketing for a book festival. It was super useful. So heat mapping is something I really, really suggest doing if you've never done it before. And that will show you how. We also have one that I've got linked in the resources about Hotjar to show you about a specific heat mapping software. Excuse me, as you could hear, my voice was cracking from being dry. Velocitize has a super fantastic article on the most watched ads on YouTube for marketers, like 5 lessons for marketers. And I like lists like this that you can show what is working and why people are watching ads. Marketers need to know how to reach people and how to make sure that people aren't just glossing over your stuff. And, not taking yourself too seriously is big right now. Speaking with a strong voice and authority really does work. People listen. They talk about brands, franchises, and stars still matter a lot, that people do care about brands. They like interacting with brands, and they like to interact with those brands as though they're people. I love doing this stream because of that, getting to interact with y'all. That's why I love doing the WordCamps. And I went to Podcast Movement last year, and being able to interact with these brands as people and make connections means a lot to me as a consumer, and I know it does to other people as well. They talk about like social platforms are becoming paid platforms. I mean, sponsored posts, y'all. And they talk about like digital media and traditional media are intertwined, where like YouTube and TV, and then you got media and things like that, like actual print media tying in. Like there's some cool stuff going on, and marketers are especially for huge brands, are knocking it out of the park right now. So y'all should totally read that article. I can't remember who did it, so I'm just going to click into the link. There's so many of them that I forget who writes them. There's one called How to Design a Dynamic Author Box for Your Blog Post Template with Divi. Donyetta did this, and dynamic author boxes are super cool. They're like you see at the bottom of the Elegant Themes blog, where you'll see people like my name or by so-and-so, and have the different bios and things like that on there. And that's what Donyetta has provided the download for, and the tutorial on how to do it, which I think is great. Like, I love dynamic content, I love the theme builder, and I think that this design is just something that everyone would want to have saved on their computer to be able to use. That's what the Divi library is for, right? We also have one of my favorite blog post templates for Divi that's come out in a while, so I had to make sure that I posted about it. I put it in the links. Donyetta did a classic typewriter-inspired blog post. It just, as you read through it, it's got a sepia background, kind of an ink blot header, and then the fonts and everything else throughout it look like a typed page. I think it's just pretty. I am 100% going to be using this one myself. I already have an idea for it, and I think that one is one of my favorites. Have a couple of good ideas for it. Ronak, go get you some sleep. 2:00 in the morning there is way past my bedtime. So much love from ET as well. I see that I've put another Yoast article in here called "When is your blog post ready for publication?" And there are a couple of things on this that I just wanted to point out to y'all who are content creators and who do content for different companies. The number one thing they say is your blog post long enough? And I've run into this recently in a couple of different places on where people don't take into consideration that having a blog post of under 300 words, like really at least one printed page, is just not worth reading. And it's not worth Google really ranking, because there's not enough meat there. It's like I used to tell my freshman comp students when they would complain that I gave them a 2-page paper as their assignment, and they have weeks to work on it. And I told them that, yes, it seems really intimidating at first when you think about the blog post, especially if you're not used to writing and that's not what you do all the time. 300 words sounds like a lot. 2 pages, filling it up with your ideas alone sounds like a lot. But by the time you get to where you are used to it and you've done it a few times, you're not going to be able to stop yourself at that length. It's very hard. I honestly don't think I could write a blog post at this point below 600 words at minimum. Like, it's really hard to even, like, that's the lowest I can express myself in, like, even on personal posts, really. I got to that point where in academics, if I had a teacher assign a paper, 6 pages was about the lowest that I could get. It's something that as you get more comfortable with it, you're going to realize that you have more things to say. And so I think that making sure that you hit like a 300 word minimum on your blog post is the top place to start. Just like Yoast says, use Grammarly or something with free of grammar and spelling mistakes. Is it actually readable? The Yoast plugin does that with readability scores. And I'm guilty of having really, really terrible readability scores in the past and getting knocked for it. And then Yoast was right. Is it SEO friendly? And is the message clear? Like, the number one thing that I wanted to post this for and use it in the stream today was making sure that whatever it is that you're writing, that your message is clear. I don't care if you are writing greeting cards, if you are writing copy, if you're writing SEO headlines, whatever it is, if you're not communicating what you mean to communicate, then you failed at it. I've done this. I have completely failed at it and had to have someone else rewrite articles for me because I did not get my message across. That means I wasn't communicating well. It wasn't ready for publication. So read your stuff and make sure that it tells what you need it to tell and that your audience knows early on what it is that you need to tell. It is the opposite of a whodunit mystery. Anytime you need to make sure that readers stick around, don't bury the lead. Make sure that it is up front as close as you can get it. And then there's a Torque Mag article. I'm trying to get through these quickly since I only have a few minutes left. Like how to add a wholesale pricing in WooCommerce, how to create a knowledge base, and how to search through a site's files with a string locator plugin. Like, stuff like that's just cool. I know that may not be for everyone, may not need wholesale pricing, but when you do, you'll be glad that WooCommerce posted that article. I saw this one on, I think it was Managed WP that I ended up finding this one aggregated and voted up. So I clicked through earlier and saw it. It's why to stay away from free WordPress themes. And they're not talking so much about like the pirated themes that we had mentioned before in the stream. They're talking about like actual free themes that you're like, oh, this is a free one, so I'll use it. They go through a few different reasons on why those may be not the best things for you to use. And some clients may want you to use them. And you can always use, and the reason I'm even bringing this up in our stream, because I know that you're Divi users, is that if a client wants you to use a different theme, but you want to use use Divi with it, that's what our Divi Builder is for. The Divi Builder plugin is used for any theme that's not Divi and Extra, so that you can use exactly the same way. So if you have anything like that, like a free theme, you can still use the Divi Builder plugin and do what you need. But they do talk about things like you may not get any updates. You might not get support, which is one thing we pride ourselves on here at ET. And like you'll face challenges with security. There will be security vulnerabilities. They talk about ethics, that if you're pirating ideas and things like that, you may get malware. They talk about you might not have SEO optimized theme. And it might just be lacking features, things like that. But I do, Uncle Social says, if I see a free theme that I like, I try and recreate it in Divi. It's practice for keeping Divi skills fresh and makes it easier for me to restyle huge parts in the future. And it's a good point. I've done that and both succeeded and failed occasionally. But if you can do recreations, that's really awesome. And that's how people sell layouts as well. Like, you can sell those layouts and things like that to people. WooCommerce had another blog about the 10 toughest states for sales tax. It's tax time of year. People are having to get all the stuff together. And if you sell anything, you're going to have to deal with it. They talk about different sales tax holidays. It's just a good run through of thinking about sales tax this time of year. Y'all have talked about different multilingual plugins in the past and multilingual sites. We have a top 8 translation plugins for WordPress multilingual sites. Always good to have a good translation plugin installed on your site. And then, I'd mentioned heat map analytics that Hotjar was running through. Running heat map analytics through Hotjar is one of our posts this week. And then the last thing on the list is one that I wanted to just show that, again, I like these kinds of posts for because it actually ties in directly to what Uncle Social had said, the best 15 examples of website footer design. And B3 does a lot of stuff with Divi. They have great work there. And showing what other people are doing with footers will give you inspiration on what to do. Because footers, I'm bad at. Like, the footer on some of my side project stuff is severely lacking. And I'm glad that I downloaded the Divi footer pack from Cyber Monday so that I can use part of those. And they have a lot of different ones. Like, they have the Divi Space one on here, Stripe, Design Space Co. That I didn't actually notice this one as I was looking through it. They have the Elegant Themes one, which we appreciate. Thank you, B3. But it is the just good footers. We need as many good footers as we can get, and the Footer Builder is one of those that I know that y'all have been using a lot. So check that one out. And Video Superhero says the ethics in terms of security is one of the biggest strengths of the company, talking about ET, with immediate fixes with transparency. And thank you. I was, when I first started working here, I was shocked at that, but shocked in the best way possible, in that we got a message out saying that there was this security update and that this was sent out to anybody who had a theme to fix their vulnerability. So when there's a major security update, we provide that update to everybody who was using Divi, not just current members. And so I'm really, really proud of ET for that. That the first time it came through, it just kind of solidified for me that taking this job was like the right choice. And so I agree with you wholeheartedly as a person that I think that is a major strength. And I think that that makes it worth the cost of admission to make sure that kind of thing always happens. Because those free themes and stuff like that, basically the only free theme that I use anymore, I take that back. There are 2. I use 2 free themes occasionally, and it is the default, whatever that year's default WordPress one is, and Astra. I'll use Astra sometimes as one of the free themes. I don't have a premium Astra account. And then Uncle Social says, I'll wrap up with this one. Uncle Social says, when I design a site, I like to think of the header as being the front end of the card, the most important bit visually, and the footer as the back end of the car, which is what gets seen as it drives away. It's true. Like, I look at footers a lot, and I look for specific information, social, careers pages, HR and logins and things like that. I go directly to a footer, which is why I don't like infinite scroll websites. If I can't get to a footer, there's a really good chance I'm not going to explore your site anymore because I can't find like all of your pertinent navigation. So that's just my 2 cents on that one. So y'all, I'm just about out of time, so I'm going to wrap up. I really appreciate the conversation today. I really appreciate all of your questions. I see Luca and Roan in Facebook. Hello, and goodbye. I do appreciate y'all taking the time to sit out with me and talk with me about WordPress for an hour every Friday. So make sure that you tune in next week. It will be at Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern right here. and on Facebook and on YouTube, so you can do that. Smash that like button. It helps more than you may realize. Ring the bell and tell Facebook that you want to be notified whenever we go live. You will not only get notified when I go live on Fridays, but when Jason or Donyetta goes live on Tuesday afternoons at 3 p.m. Eastern with a Divi use case, which are honestly the most useful tutorials I've ever found on the internet about Divi, because I've watched them and learned how to use Divi much better because of those two wizards. And then there is Mac. Speaking of Divi wizards, Mac does Divi feature release overviews, which is at Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern time, which is, according to Uncle Social earlier, is 11 a.m. GMT. So you can tune in this coming Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern and make sure that you see and ask your questions about Divi 4.2, the newest update that came out on Thursday with draggable anchors, fixed headers, and floating elements. So, oh, I see. Dave Doherty asks, off topic, so he's waiting until the end. I'll go ahead and mention this. Anybody have ideas on how to come up with a company name for a new website services company? And drops an email, which to do that. I love coming up with names. I write down ridiculous ones. I ask all of my friends. Honestly, I ask my friends in real life when I need a name to come up with stuff, and generally they come up with some really silly ones. But every once in a while, it's like, yeah, that's what we're gonna call this. That's how I come up with taglines for like festivals and things like that too. So that said, y'all, I hope y'all have a great week and weekend. I will see you next Friday, and thank you for being fantastic members of the Divi Nation. Bye, everybody.